Every era of boxing needs a villain. Someone the crowd loves to hate, someone who makes you pick a side before the first bell even rings. Right now, that man is Conor Benn. And on September 12th, at T-Mobile Arena, he's stepping in against a fighter with some of the fastest hands in the sport, a man trying to claw his way back from the darkest stretch of his career. This is the story of how two damaged reputations collided into the biggest crossover fight boxing has seen in years. Mexican Independence Day weekend used to belong to legends. Oscar de la Hoya owned it. Then Floyd Mayweather took his turn. Then Canelo Alvarez made it his. But this year, that date is sitting open. Nobody's claimed it. And that vacancy has turned into a quiet jockeying match between two of boxing's most talked about names, David Benavidez and Ryan Garcia, both circling the same spotlight. Boxing runs on stories like this. Heroes and villains, drama and stakes. And right now, few storylines carry more weight than the one building around Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn. It's not an exaggeration to call Conor Benn boxing's biggest villain right now. 2 failed drug tests didn't help. Neither did the shift in his public persona, a fighter who once seemed likable turning combative, dismissive, openly hostile toward the media covering him. Walking out of interviews. Knocking microphones away. Treating journalists like the enemy. Then came the bigger move, leaving his longtime promotional home at Matchroom behind for Zuffa Boxing and Dana White's operation. For a sport that runs on loyalty narratives, that jump alone was enough to make headlines. And once he crossed the Atlantic, Benn didn't tone it down, he leaned all the way in. Calling out America's top names one by one. Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson. Anyone willing to answer. His message was simple, he wasn't in England to relax, he was here to make the biggest fights available and put his name in the history books. Whether people liked him or not, one thing was clear, Conor Benn understood exactly what kind of attention keeps a fighter relevant. For a while, the tension between Garcia and Benn stayed mostly one-sided, trash talk from Benn, restraint from Garcia. That changed at the Ring Magazine Awards, where a face-to-face confrontation finally gave fans what felt like a genuine spark. Real words, real heat, no scripted promo lines. It was the first time the rivalry felt less like marketing and more like something building toward an actual fight. But context matters here, because a year earlier, this exchange would have looked completely different. To understand why this fight matters so much, you have to understand where both men were just months before it was made. Ryan Garcia's comeback fight against Rolando Romero is remembered as one of the most passive performances of his career, just 18 power shots landed across the entire fight. Critics were blunt about it, if Garcia wasn't going to throw punches, he was going to have to survive on defense alone. It didn't feel like Ryan Garcia. It felt like someone wearing his name. 2 weeks before that, Conor Benn had his own reckoning, a rematch that exposed real gaps in his composure under pressure. He couldn't find his rhythm. Couldn't stay disciplined. The fighter who'd built his reputation on aggression looked like he was fighting against himself as much as his opponent. Both men needed a reset. And both got one, in fights that would swing their momentum right back in the opposite direction. Garcia's turnaround came against Emiliano Barrios, a fight where his hand speed reminded everyone why he became a star in the first place. Barrios' chin kept him upright longer than expected, but Garcia's performance had the sharpness and confidence of the version of him fans had been waiting to see again. Even skeptics were calling it a classic. Benn's redemption arc took a different shape, a headline bout against former 2-division world champion, a veteran clearly in the twilight of his career. It wasn't the explosive Benn fans had seen destroy larger opponents before. It was more measured, more cautious, a performance that raised real questions about what he actually has left at this level, and cast doubt on whether the hype around his American move matched the substance behind it. Still, bruised face and all, Benn walked away from that fight sticking to the same script he'd been repeating for months. He wants Ryan Garcia, and he wants the WBC title that comes with it. 10 years of work, he said, all building toward this exact moment. Strip away the trash talk, and the real story of this fight is physical. Both men carry near-identical records, 25 wins, a loss or 2 apiece. But the numbers that matter most here are different, 2 years of youth in Garcia's favor, along with a 2-inch reach advantage and extra height. In a fight likely to be decided in fast, tight exchanges, those inches could be the difference maker. Then there's the weight question. Benn's journey up from lower divisions has made him look imposing on paper, but multiple opponents who've shared a ring or a stage with him have admitted they expected someone far bigger in person. If Benn genuinely struggles to hold his power at this new weight, he's stepping in against a naturally heavier puncher with dangerous hooks off both hands. And there's an amateur gap too. Garcia entered the professional ranks with nearly 10 times the amateur experience Benn had. Different foundations. Different developmental paths. That kind of head start doesn't disappear just because both careers started the same month. Stylistically, this should be compelling. Both are orthodox fighters, but their approaches couldn't be more different. Garcia is short, snappy, built around the jab and counter, stepping back off his own jab to set up the right hand or the uppercut rather than committing fully forward. Benn works longer, more spearing shots, favoring pressure and opportunities to close distance and work on the inside. If Benn can find a way to make Garcia uncomfortable early, force him into exchanges he doesn't want, history shows Garcia's chin has been tested before, and it hasn't always held. But if that early opening doesn't come, Benn's aggression could walk him straight into exactly the kind of counterpunching trap Garcia thrives on. Beyond the ring, this fight represents something larger, the biggest US-UK boxing crossover event since Wilder, Fury, complete with its own promotional tug-of-war playing out behind the scenes. Whatever tension exists between the promotional camps, the fighters themselves seem locked in on one thing: legacy. For Garcia, a win here silences a year of doubt. For Benn, it validates the entire American gamble, the promoter switch, the trash talk, the target painted on his own back. Both men have already touched rock bottom this year and climbed back out of it. Now they're being asked to do it against each other, on one of the biggest stages boxing has left. September 12th isn't just another fight night. It's a collision of narratives years in the making: speed against pressure, youth against experience, redemption against validation. Whoever wins walks away with more than a belt. They walk away owning the next chapter of welterweight boxing. If breakdowns like this are your thing, there's plenty more where this came from. Stick around.